Introduction to Gardening Without Irrigation, or Without Much Anyway. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Betsie Bush, August 2009. Gardening Without Irrigation, or Without Much Anyway, by Steve Solomon. Introduction. Starting a New Gardening Era. First, you should know why a maritime Northwest raised bed gardener named Steve Solomon became worried about his dependence on irrigation. I'm from Michigan. I moved to Lorain, Oregon in April 1978 and homesteaded on 5 acres in what I thought at the time was a cool, showery, green valley of liquid sunshine and rainbows. I intended to put in a big garden and grow as much of my own food as possible. 2 months later, in June, just as my garden began needing water, my so-called 15-gallon-per-minute well began to falter, yielding less and less with each passing week. By August, it delivered about 3 gallons per minute. Fortunately, I wasn't faced with a completely dry well or one that had shrunk to below 1 gallon per minute, as I soon discovered many of my neighbors were cursed with. 3 gallons per minute won't supply a fan nozzle or even a common impulse sprinkler, but I could still sustain my big raised bed garden by watering all night, 5 or 6 nights a week, with a single 2.5 gallon per minute sprinkler that I moved from place to place. I had repeatedly read that gardening in raised beds was the most productive vegetable growing method, required the least work, and was the most water-efficient system ever known. So, without adequate irrigation, I would have concluded that food self-sufficiency on my homestead was not possible. In late September of that first year, I could still run that single sprinkler. What a relief not to have invested every last cent in land that couldn't feed us. For many succeeding years at Lorain, I raised lots of organically grown food on densely planted raised beds, but the realities of being a country gardener continued to remind me of how tenuous my irrigation supply actually was. We country folks have to be self-reliant. I am my own sanitation department. I maintain my own 800-foot-long driveway. The septic system puts me in the sewage business. A long response time to my 911 calls means I'm my own self-defense force. And I'm my own water department. Without regular and heavy watering during high summer, dense stands of vegetables become stunted in a matter of days. Pump failure has brought my raised bed garden close to that several times. Before my frantic efforts got the water flowing again, I could feel the stressed-out garden screaming like a hungry baby.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?